When you compare French culture here in Paris and Italian culture, Romanian culture, Croatian culture, people in Ukraine, Switzerland, German people, what differences in mentality do you see?
I would like to say they are more open to talk about many things, In Ukraine, we are more, we don't speak about private life, too much. They can ask you from the beginning many, many things, very interesting of you. And it's a big difference.
One thing you can notice immediately that Croatians are definitely louder. It's not mentality, but we are more temperament, maybe. Yeah, maybe more temperament. Croatians, we are very expressive and loud people.
Chivalry. So in Germany, as a woman, I always wanted to be equal. So, for example, if we were helping a friend move house, then everybody would get the same heavy boxes. And if the girls didn't do as well, then it would be a little bit of a joke, but there wouldn't really be someone coming up and grabbing the heavy box from you. And it's quite equality. And over here, I had so many situations where coworkers of mine, so not strangers, but coworkers of mine, just help me, open the door for me, let me go first, or ask me, hey, can I carry your things for you? And one time we went to the supermarket and I had 2 really heavy bags, and then my coworkers just grabbed the bags and carried them for me, and that wouldn't happen in Germany. So there's an aspect of chivalry, and you have to be like the knight in shining armor to the women. Of course, only the women not just any random person.
French, and I worked with them as well when I worked back in Nespresso in Switzerland. French are very open. They're very open-minded. They are very talkative and very friendly mostly. They are very easy to express their opinion. So you can discuss with them about so many subjects. And you criticize also easily. Whenever you don't like something, hop it goes. French are like that. Then if you compare, for example, with Switzerland, Swiss are very discreet. They will not go easily. They keep things to themselves. They will not criticize openly. They will not maybe also talk a lot about subject. French are not like that. So you have Swiss discretion, but French outgoingness, let's say like that.
And there's a fair amount of small talk going on. So, for example, if you're in line in the supermarket, especially women who are a little bit older than I am, they just start talking, you chit-chat while you're waiting in line. And that never happened to me in Germany. So I think either the French people or the people living in Paris are much more open than, for example, the people living in Frankfurt.
So I would say French people, they love to be exaggerately polite sometimes, which I don't get it. It's kind of fake to me sometimes. They call it the politesse, it's like a really important concept here. Sometimes it's kind of pushed to the limit. I don't enjoy it. I do prefer to have more like a natural behavior with people. But again, it's fine. It's not that bad. It's actually just a bit exaggerated. For the rest, I do find the cultures pretty alike, celebration-wise, vacation-wise, food-wise. We're kind of blending in easily, Italians in Paris,
Do you have an example for this overly polite?
Yes, for example, if you're a person working and you have to interact with a customer, there is so many like formule de politesse that you have to use with the client. You have to say, you have to say, s'il vous plaît, merci, une excellente journée. All of these things in just one sentence, to the point where it doesn't even feel natural anymore. So, yeah, I'm Italian, so I just say, bye, thank you. That's it. And it still feels nice. It still feels like chivalrous. That's it.
I think the main one, and this will bring another thing that maybe I like less about French people, but is that we Romanians are very welcoming. Here people are more like with their own things. Of course they're share, but they are like, I don't know, their mentality is of getting things and thinking things like this. And I cannot really deal with this very well.
So you would say people are a bit more private here also?
yeah, I'm more individual. But this is not just about French. I think this is Western Europe in general. So I've confronted this in other countries also.
Yeah.
So here maybe French are in between, you know, the Eastern and Western. It's not that bad, but it is.
Other cultural differences is food. So you can talk about food to everybody, and they're critiquing you. So in Germany, I would sometimes bring food to work and they just say thank you. And here it's like, well, that wasn't bad, but you could increase, like, you can improve it. Yeah, that wasn't so bad, but you can improve it by adding this and that. And have you tried that? Like, I don't expect these like detailed critiques. It was just a nice gesture. So food is a really important thing in France, and in Frankfurt or in Germany in general, in order to get the same quality of food, you would go to the high-end restaurants. So in normal restaurants, you just wouldn't get that. But that means that people tend to complain about things. So if you go to a restaurant with our co-workers, oh, that's another thing. Going to restaurants with your co-workers is a thing. And in Frankfurt, I think we've done it 5 times in the 9 years I worked there, and it was like a special occasion. And here it's Tuesday. And so they might complain about things where I'm totally okay with the food. So they have really high expectations to anybody preparing them. And yeah, that's definitely a French thing.
French are also very easy to express. We say in French, mécontentement, when they are not happy with something. Straight away they go to that. Don't see that in Singapore, don't see that in Switzerland. People don't allow, unless they know you well.
Okay, I can say maybe one thing that I noticed changed in me was that being surrounded with French mentality, I started appreciating high quality and beautiful things, which I never noticed or maybe even cared about before. And I think that is something that is very, I wouldn't even say maybe French, but maybe Parisian. That people here, not all obviously, we cannot generalize, but I noticed that when like there has to be a certain level of quality in everything, in building things, in making food, presenting food, like everything needs to be on a certain level. Clothes, I mean, like, and I guess they're a little bit arrogant in that sense, but I think that they can back it up, to be honest. I think they're like positioning, okay, maybe it can be annoying for people, but I think they have a reason why, because like there's a certain level of knowledge behind it and experience, I guess.
Switzerland also is very, if you look at the country with the view of the foreigner or visitor, Switzerland is very clean, very proper, very well organized. You can speak about public transport, timely order. You can speak about order at the streets. If you compare with Singapore, Singapore is excellent place to live. It's also can be called the police state because there are a lot of rules for everything and a lot of repercussions once you break the rules. In France, you don't feel that. There is freedom of, you don't feel observed. There's not huge presence of police. It was during Olympic Games, but not now. And you feel certain freedom of movements, of expressions, of, you see some repercussions of that. Not all dog owners, for example, take care of, of what their dogs do on the street, right? You don't see that, you won't see that in Singapore because basically it's fine. You don't see that in Switzerland. So from the view of someone who walks on the street, you see differences.
Thank you for watching until the end of this video. You would really help me and my channel out by giving me a like or sharing your own perspective on this topic in the comments section. And on this channel you can find many more videos about life in different European cities. And I hope to see you in the next video.